Good morning, Anne. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yes.
Fabulous, fabulous. So, as you know, the point of today's call is just to get you coaching on something to help you move forward. So, where are you at and what do you want help with?
Yeah, well, so I obviously I do quite a lot of things in my business. I teach video, I teach a lot of digital skills, and mainly to women in their 50s and 60s who have got sort of gaps in their knowledge. And so I sort of fill in the jigsaw piece so that they can grow their business and, sort of get from A to B without sort of struggling.
Mm-hmm. And what is it that you particularly want help in? Like, where are you experiencing stuckness at the moment?
Well, I think the place that I sort of struggle with is sort of intuition, because I have very strong gut instincts about things. And, obviously, like a lot of business owners, I've been on training courses and very often people say, oh, no, don't go there. And because I'm usually very well ahead of the curve as far as new trends are concerned, what I tend to find is that I have this idea, and then a year down the line, I find somebody has turned this into a business that's a sort of growing rapidly. It's a really big business, and I was thinking, but why didn't I do that then? And this theme has recurred throughout my life since I was about 20.
Okay, so you telling me that what I'm hearing is it's that trust in, like, you hear something, and what I'm hearing is that you're not trusting your intuition and you're doing something else instead. Is that fair?
Yeah. I'm following the guidance of people who are experts.
Okay.
And maybe I need to trust myself that I'm an expert in this.
Absolutely. Right. So let's just to kind of like get your brain on board as well. As over the years you have followed the advice of the experts, how has that worked out for you up until now?
All right, but it's not. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, it has taken me from A to B, but it's not sort of lit the sort of blue touch paper in my business, if you see what I mean. Yeah.
So what we want to do is, I'm just getting you there for you to recognise, like exactly what you just said. When you've invested all of your thoughts in the fact that these people know better, it hasn't necessarily got you the results that you've wanted, and you've seen other people going further with the ideas that you had, but you didn't trust yourself to go with them. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's right. Yes.
So tell me about, let's have a look at the different thoughts that you have. So when you're believing that the experts know best, what are you not believing about yourself?
Well, that I know my business and I know my capabilities better.
But that's not what you're thinking when you're putting the onus on them knowing more, is it? So when you're holding the thought that they know better and you follow their guidance rather than your internal guidance system.
Yeah. I'm not trusting what.
You're not trusting yourself. Yeah. So when you make that decision then to trust them rather than yourself, right? So you take their advice rather than listening to your own intuition. What are you believing won't happen? So in other words, if you was to trust your gut and go with where you want to go, what do you think might happen that you don't think is going to happen if you go with the expert?
Well, that nobody's going to sort of believe me, or that I need sort of concrete proof. It's sort of, obviously I've come from a background of being a journalist where you have to have all this evidence to set this up, and and sometimes I have these sort of gut feelings that there is no evidence, but I know that that's going to happen. And so so I think that I can't build an argument that this is going to be right.
Okay.
So for instance, I mean, recently I was on a course with a woman who's a sort of a multi-million pound business owner, and I said to her, I think that I should be doing X, which is away from what I'm doing, but I'm feeling that this is going to be a really big thing. And she said, no, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be mixing up a genres, you know. So instead of being about digital training and, you know, video and TikTok, it's going to be about a health matter. And I said, no, but the health matter impacts on the training and the understanding of the training. And she said, no, you're wrong. And now I'm seeing lots of training programs which are just what I said, but I said this more than a year ago, actually.
Tell me about, so when someone says that to you, when you put an idea out there and you feel it in your body, and then someone comes back and says to you no, what do you feel in your body in that moment?
Well, I suppose it's sort of quite a childlike feeling, you know. It's like a parent saying to you, no, you can't do that.
Okay, and then where did your thought go after that? So you've got this feeling of almost sort of being reprimanded, put back into a box. That's what it feels and sounds like to me. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And I think if anybody listening, we all know what it's like when we feel like. So for those of you that don't, Anne and I have worked together a lot in the past, right? So we can sort of like feel each other's energies. And one of the things that I'm feeling from you now is that literally that shame of when you've been a child and you've got really giddy with excitement about something, and then someone like just puts their foot on it and goes, don't be so freaking stupid, right? And then we get that shame feeling. And my solar plexus right now is like churning. So when you're in that space and the reaction is that of your child self, what thoughts come up for you then? Where do your thoughts immediately go?
Well, there's that it can't happen, or that I'm wrong, or that you know, or you know, it's not going to happen. It's sort of like, I suppose, you know, when you're a child and your parent says no, there's a brick wall and you're not going to get through it, you know, and it's like there's this brick wall, and yet it sort of festers in there, you know, should I not, you know, am I going to be putting myself out on a lim doing this? You know, and I suppose it's having that sort of freedom to feel I'm going to really stand out from the crowd here, and I'm going to go off on a limb, and I might be wrong, and I might be right, and I might be wrong, you know. And it's the idea that someone else knows better.
Yeah. Okay, so that's so anybody that's listening now who's in business, everybody will recognize that thing, because we look at the people that have already made it and we're told that success leaves clues, but at the same time we need to know how to manage our thoughts so that we can work out whether we're functioning from a place of intuition and it's true, or whether our intuition is actually our brain offering us something to get us out of fear. So I have done a whole other podcast on that, but so I don't want to go there, because, you know, it sounds to me like you've had proof where you've ignored the intuition, and then at some point in the future you've seen somebody who has made a success of the thing that you were going to do, correct?
Absolutely, yes. Literally, I suppose 20, 30, 40 times in my life.
So how many more times do you need to see that pattern in your life before you start to make a different decision?
Well, I don't really. I think the thing is that, you know, that if you could, it's sort of bringing that thought to the surface, and for you to recognise that, you know, that when something like this turns up, that you actually have to listen.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to create a model around that, a model that empowers you to act from the place that you can make the decision and you can manage whatever happens from that said decision, right? Because it doesn't matter who you are. Everything that we try that's new has the opportunity to succeed or to fail, right? There's no definite that it's going to happen. So, and if strategy were the answer, then everybody that had bought a business strategy would be really successful, and we know that they're not. So there's far more behind just the strategy, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, yes, and I think that what I realise now is that there are any number of strategies all that could potentially work, and that you actually have to find what works for you. Yeah.
So I want to go, because there's a couple of stories that I'm hearing where I feel, they're the stories that are like providing this little bit of strangulation, right?
Yeah.
So, the first story is obviously knowing that it triggers an outdated story of when you was a child, right? And that's common for everybody, because that's our brain offering us these old emotions because we're anchored into them.
Yeah.
So I want you to just first of all go to like just letting your brain and your body step into the version of yourself that you are now, where you get to make the decision for yourself. So next time that a guru or an expert says no to your idea, what thought can you immediately adopt to help put a lid on that kind of childlike reaction?
I don't think you're right.
Okay. And I'm also sensing some resistance. So when you say that, even though I know you want to say that, I'm feeling a little breathless. So I'm feeling that there is something behind that that's going to make that difficult for you to think. What might that be? So put yourself in that space now. Imagine even going back to the one that you just said with this person that's obviously multi-million pounds and they've gone, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong. So even when you hold that thought, I don't think you're right. Tell me what the but is that comes after that.
It's but I respect what you've done.
Right. So there is still,
because I think obviously people haven't been mega successful without having done something right, but I think it's really you don't know what I know.
Yeah, right. And also what you're capable of.
Yes.
And one of the things that I talk to my clients about is that when we make a decision, I think it goes three ways. We either make the decision and then spend a lot of time and energy worrying that we've made the wrong decision and we catastrophize everything. We make the decision and we only decide if it was the right one based on evidence that we get from taking action. Or we make the decision and we make sure it's the right decision because we show up in the decision.
Yes.
Right? They're the three places we can come from. So instead of making it a but, what if we made it an and? So I don't think you're right, and I respect that you know what you're talking about, and I'm still going to do it my way.
Yeah. That sounds way better.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
And do you think if you held on to that thought, that you would be able to take different action to what you take at the moment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just find out what that would be. So in the past, when you've still had the thought, well, I don't think you're right, but it's been followed with, but I respect you and your knowledge. What action do you normally take from that space? What would be your next step?
I would then sort of hunker down and do whatever they told me to.
Yeah. Which I'm hearing hasn't had the best results for you because
I think it's because you lose some of that passion that's within you.
Yeah, because someone's
and I like chasing new ideas. I like chasing the new.
Yeah, well,
it's where I'm an expert in new things and spotting trends. That's what I'm an expert in, and they are. And I know that I'm not an expert in being sort of doing the same thing time and time again.
Yeah. So I want to just speak super quick to that, because I don't want to get taken off track. Right? But I want everyone to be aware of the fact that every human being has a human drive for new, right? So we all want to try new stuff, whether it's new experiences, meet new people, In our business, it can be very, very destructive, because when we start to feel unconsciously experience fear around like seeing the launch through to the end, putting out a new product, putting our prices up, our brain will offer us something new, because then we don't complete the action that we need to take. So I just want to put that caveat in, that it's not necessarily always a strength, and that if you don't have the results you want in your life, you need to have a look at what the motivation is behind that. So that's just like a side word there. But what I'm seeing is that you've got this gift. You've always had the gift for being ahead of the trend and And the only reason you don't become an expert in that trend is because you don't act on it first.
Yes.
Okay. So if you think about, I'm going to just try and think of something that we both listened to. Let's go back to Brendan, because that's Brendan sort of brought us together many years ago. And if you think when Brendan started out, when he first started coaching, and he charged somebody something like $200 for a month's coaching, and now he charges 7 figures to work with him one-to-one, right? Do you think he was an expert in that first coaching session that he had in a coffee shop where I think he spilled like green tea all over the table?
Probably not, no.
He had the knowledge.
He had the knowledge, yes.
But we become an expert through practice and through getting things wrong.
Yes.
Right? So we have to have that contrast. So instead of coming back and knuckling down on what this person's told you to do, where you're acting from maybe like your 5-year-old self, you step into your power and you can have them all. Like, I don't think you're right and I respect you, but I also know that I have the ability to make this work. What might be your next action from that space?
To go out and to just ask some questions.
Yep. And tell me a little bit more about what that looks like. I mean, how would that marry up to your goal? Like, if the goal was to test this trend and become an expert in that trend, where do the questions come in?
Well, I mean, I suppose obviously you'd ask your email list, and you would ask, on social media, and you start posting about those things.
Yeah. And
but very often what happens with me is that I do something and then people respond to me, and I thought, there's a need there, so it's me not responding to something that I've spotted.
Yeah. So when you don't respond, what thought are you holding then? So somebody or something comes into your awareness where you see this gaping hole for a need and you don't respond because?
Because, well, I don't know, I suppose that there's a bit of me thinking, oh no, I'm being distracted here, or I'm just too busy doing other stuff, it's like prioritizing, isn't it?
Okay. So
it's sort of like TikTok. I mean, I sort of signed up for TikTok, I suppose, the beginning of 2021, and stuck some videos out there. I actually got a brand deal with less than 100 followers, which is sort of like unheard of.
Excellent, well done.
But I didn't know that it was unheard of, because I didn't know really, and then I just sort of like didn't really do anything. I sort of posted about it, asked people didn't know very much about it, or the people I was asking didn't know very much about it. And then it wasn't until, I suppose, this sort of November last year that I decided to launch a course, and it just sort of took off, so it was but I still didn't really know masses about it. I was just sort of like a few steps ahead of where everyone else was,
which is all you need to be an expert, right?
Yeah, right.
so I want to just make sure that you get the outcome that you want from today. So whilst we talked about knowing when you're like dampening your intuition because you're acting from your older self, how is that specifically impacting the goals that you're trying to achieve in your business now, so that we can create something around that?
Well, I think what it's doing is it's stopping me from owning my uniqueness, and I suppose, and this is very embarrassing, being truly visible as to who I am, as I teach.
And you not wanting to be visible, I don't believe it for one cotton picking minute, young lady. Right? So here we go. So I just want everyone to notice as well that as we have these discussions, the stories actually that reveal the truth actually come out. Okay? So we've got a woman here that wants everybody to succeed and be visible, or be visible and succeed, but she's not allowing herself the same story.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to make sure that we get to a space now where you've got a model that you can work from moving forward that lets you own your uniqueness, lets you feel really courageous about getting your voice out there and owning what you can help others to do, so that you can also succeed, right? Succeeding through service. But that also, most importantly for me, from a high performance perspective, is that we don't get stuck in distraction, because it's so common. So there needs to be some decisions made around how do you know when you're being distracted versus how do you know when it's work that is specifically moving you towards your goal. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So let's just quickly look at the distraction thing first, because then I will explain to you the model and we'll go through the model, because I think for you it'll be beneficial to have that sort of that modular stuff that you can come back to. So when you feel like, when you're in that conversation in your head, oh, am I being distracted versus is this something I need to work on? How can you differentiate the two? How do you know when it's a distraction? Like, how in your gut do you know it's a distraction?
Oh, because I'm obsessed with it.
And when you're in that space of distraction, what benefit do you get? What is it stopping you from doing?
Well, it's stopping me from obviously sort of pursuing any business goals.
Yeah, which means
that I can't be successful.
There we go. Right, because if you're successful and you're the expert, people might start asking you questions.
Yes.
It's very different to be the space where we are creating and sharing, but then to be seen as the expert where people come to you and, you know, and you're expected to have all the answers. That can feel a little bit more, you know, it can make us, I'm feeling there's a little bit more of a step back from that role, and we want you to feel like you can step into that light and have that voice.
Yeah. I think that the other thing is with me though is that there is this very strong feeling that to be an expert, that I set myself these mega high levels of expertise. So, you know, if somebody comes to me and says something about filming, you know, I think I need to have like a cinematographer's level of understanding, you know, which is sort of like, you know, it's like professional filmmaker, you know, making Hollywood films, and or, you know, if somebody says, you know, I want to know about writing. Obviously, I'm a professional writer, but you know, I'm thinking I need to be, you know, like you know, a writer, you know, sort of Jane Austen or something like that. I mean, I'm set myself these amazingly high.
And again, what do you gain from that? Because it's clearly not
nothing. Well, it means I can't achieve goals because you don't try to achieve goals because the hurdle is too high.
Yeah. So if you were going to go and be a what's the word I'm looking for? If you were going to go and be a lecturer at university on cinematography, damn right you need to know it at that level.
Yes.
But for the average person, and I don't mean average in a derogatory way, but for the small business owner who is looking to make videos or create content, I think I speak for most of us when we say, please keep it as simple as possible, because we just want to be able to do it.
Yes.
So when you recognize that these little strategies you're putting in place keep you in a box, are you willing to remove them so you can step out of the box?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do then is we're going to create a model around it, because your brain will always want to take you back there for a safety reason. You've had these strategies in place for a long time and it's worked. It's worked because it's kept you where it wants to keep you, but you don't want to be there anymore.
Yes, yes.
So I just want to make sure though that we've just completed the part on distraction. So the benefit of distraction for you is, well, I hear a couple of things. Number one, it feels good because you get obsessed without it. But that the ultimate benefit of distraction and high expectations is that it doesn't let you achieve the level of success and financial freedom that you want.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
So is it more important for you, and I'm asking your subconscious mind as well as your conscious mind, is it more important for you to keep going down the rabbit hole of distraction and setting yourself, and I don't want to say unachievable unachievable expectations, because I know you're very good at what you do, but unnecessary expectations? Or is it more important to you now that you do the things that are going to help you create the success and financial independence you want?
Well, I mean, yes, I mean, where I am at the moment, it's important that I achieve sort of financial success.
Yeah. So
it's sort of setting those things aside. I think that, you know, that I need to create a like a barrier between, you know, what I do for me and what I do for my business, because
absolutely,
because I think that what I've allowed to happen is that they merge.
So here's what they're showing me now. They're showing me like a quite a high fence, a wooden fence, but you can't break it, and there's a gate. And you can only go in and out of that gate through decision. Like, I'm going into this arena now, and this is my professional, and this is when I step out of that, this is when I go into it for my own personal gain. But you must, again, just be aware of the thought that it is just for you, and you're not thinking, if I've got this extra little bit, it's going to make me more of an expert, because you're going to end up probably speaking to people at a level they don't need you to speak to them at.
Yes.
Remember, in any of our businesses, we're meeting them where they're at, and they don't give two hoots if you know what, I don't know, a major filmmaker does. They just want to know, how do I hold my phone and do a good TikTok? Right?
Yeah.
Be in their head, not in the thoughts that you're having about what you think they need you to be so that you can be more successful. They are not thinking that.
No.
Right? So see that fence and just know, number one, know when you're going through the gate, and make sure your thoughts are clean before you go through the gate, and it is not like a little sidestep and your brain's still saying to you, just learn a little bit more, Anne. Like, you might actually benefit more from going and doing your hours yoga practice, or going for a walk and taking pictures, right? That might be your strength there. So the outcome we're going to get in the next just a couple of minutes is that you are going to be able to, on a daily basis, use this model, which I'll explain to you in a minute, so that you can step into your power, so that you can honor your intuition, so you can be comfortable around being visible, and so that you can start to create the success you want in your business. Agreed?
Yes.
Why am I seeing you're not seeing?
I don't know. Something's just happened.
Oh, how bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully it'll come back. Okay, so the model is just another coaching tool, and the model teaches us to basically, we see our circumstance, which our circumstance is around like your business and your expertise. That's where I'm seeing the circumstance. And then we have thoughts, feelings, actions, and results around that. And at any point in time, we can change one of those four things to get a different result. The circumstance never changes. So is it fair to say that your circumstance is your business? Because this pertains to your business, correct?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay. So we sort of touched on the thought that you need to have. So one of the thoughts that you need to have to enable you to trust your intuition without getting distracted and with being comfortable with being visible is for you. If somebody else is saying to you, no, that's not right, you're saying, I don't think you're right, I respect what you said, and I'm doing it my way.
Yes.
Is there any other thoughts? Your thoughts, I want you to imagine your thoughts being your guiding star. So every action that you take comes from that thought. So we don't act out of habit. We go, if I'm holding this thought, what action will I take in this moment? So is there another thought that you can adopt that lets you feel really powerful around your own sense of intuition and your own expertise?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things that I've been doing recently is that I've been doing a lot of meditation, and I think that actually meditating on that can actually sort of release something in the subconscious for me.
But we can do that. We can put that in the action line.
Yes.
But it's a thought that I want you to have, and the thought can be about yourself. It can be about your business. It can be about the world. It can be about your clients. But
well, I mean, I think the thought has to be, I'm powerful.
I love it. You know, that's one of my most favorite words. So I am powerful, and you are powerful. And what makes people so powerful they don't understand is your intention.
Yes.
Right? So I was talking to a client about this morning. If you have an argument with somebody and they go, oh my God, Anne, for God's sake, I'm sorry, versus, Anne, I'm really sorry that I said that. Same words, very different intention.
Yes.
So when you're taking action in your business and the thought that you take action from is, I am powerful, how much different does that feel in your body versus, I'm doing this action because someone else told me to do it?
Well, I think it's going to sound a bit weird, but it's also like I can feel it in my shoulders, but it feels like wings, you know.
There we go.
Yeah.
You must have seen did you see my Instagram post this weekend? I went Christmas shopping, and there was, in this amazing shop, this biggest pair of brass angel wings I've ever seen in my life, and I'm like, I need them in my house somewhere. So absolutely, coming from that place of I am powerful, and let us just put in, one of my favorite words to use is and. You can feel powerful and feel uncertain.
Yes.
You can feel powerful and be a little bit scared. You can feel powerful and be like, oh crap, what am I doing? But when you hold the thought of powerful, now you're in a space to take aligned action. So when you're, first of all, tell me, when you feel that thought of I am powerful and I'm going to do it my way, you said to me like you feel like wings, any other emotion that gets generated in your body?
Well, I suppose excitement as well.
Love it.
I mean, I think it's excitement, as you say. It's sort of it is balanced with a little bit of uncertainty.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, obviously, I've done a lot of you know, sort of, I suppose, not danger, well, maybe dangerous sports, or you know, sort of those sorts of things in my life. And you know, I've done a lot of rock climbing. Sometimes, you know, when you sort of step around that corner and you can't see the corner, and literally you do that in rock climbing. Sometimes you step around and you can't see the handhold and you can't see where you're going to put
that makes me feel quite sick.
But it's and you don't know, but you know, when you do it, it's just this amazing moment. It's you sort of pivot on a ridge, you know, and it's absolutely amazing.
And just notice, and I want everyone to notice this, just notice that, I mean, because I've done some physical challenges, not quite as mad as you, but when we're doing that physical challenge, for the most part, we give no attention to what other people are thinking. It's purely a physical challenge for ourselves. The reason that we struggle so much to mirror that across into our business is because we put too much thought on what other people are thinking. So I want you to, because I know you're very visual, just imagine as well, one of the things, when you're holding these thoughts and you're holding this feeling of excitement and this feeling of having wings, try to visualize and feel in your body that feeling of going around the corner, like you say, not knowing where you're going to go, but trusting, and just notice that you're not giving thought to anybody else. So bring that across into your business. So when you make that decision and you act on your intuition, let yourself feel that level of autonomy. You're going around the corner, you're making a decision, and you're coming from a place of service, and you will work it out.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, no, that's good.
And you're not bringing an audience to it. There isn't an audience here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very powerful thing to say, because I think that, you know, that when you are doing something like that, you know, when you are sort of going into cold water for the first time or something like that, you don't have any expectation, because maybe you've never done it before, but you can only think about that thing at that time. You can't think about, oh, what are the people on the ground doing? You know, what's that person over on the other side of the lake doing? You can't think about that. You can only think.
And we've lost all of our power. So from that space of I am powerful, you know, I respect you, but I'm doing it my way. I feel excitement. I feel wings. I've got that autonomy of like climbing around the rock. What action, give me one or two actions that you can see yourself taking from that space, from that thought.
Well, obviously, as I said before, that I would definitely be meditating on that.
Okay.
And just seeing what comes up. And I would probably
what's something
I'll probably walk, because walking is, it seems to be the best thing to trigger what's going on, and you know, it gives me clarity.
So it sounds like the meditation and the walking are ways for you to tap into and receive intuitive hits, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but because we want to make sure you're taking aligned action in your business, how does that translate into doing something that you're not doing now in your business?
I suppose it's sending out an email. Yes.
Right. So you want to make sure that when you choose a new thought, you want to be able to define what is an action that I'm going to take that I'm not doing now.
Yes.
Just as a caveat to that, it doesn't mean to say that you're doing more, right? It sounds like what you're going to do is create more space for the space to gift you the answers. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They want to get stuck in work means being on the laptop, tip, tap, tip, and they're closing that creativity off, which is where their superpower is. So I love how that's the first place that you went. Like, I'm going to create that space to hear the voices And then from there, it will be an email. It might just be a case of like, how do I get some evidence that this is going to work?
Yes.
Having said that, that doesn't mean to say you can't bring people along for the ride, right? Once you use your voice and people know that you're a highly intuitive, probably psychic person, right? And you go, I've had this freaking amazing idea. I did this meditation on it. I went walking and I got this confirmation and da-da-da. So this is what I'm going to do. And I want you to try it out with me and give me your results. Let me know.
Yes.
How of being of service is that? You're gifting them the opportunity to try it before anybody else has.
Yes.
And you're gaining evidence. Does that not sound exciting?
Yes, no, that's good.
Right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to have all the evidence by yourself in order to be the expert. You're the expert because you're getting the hits, you're trusting your gut, and out from a place of service and curiosity, you're giving other people the chance to try it and give you feedback.
Yes. Yeah, no, that,
yes. You have the whole road tarmacked yet.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So just as I'll draw you some cards before we finish, but you know, yesterday, when we got to the lake, I don't know your weather's like where you are, but yesterday when we got to the lake, it was really, really foggy, right? So we could see the start of the lake, but we couldn't see our course because we couldn't see the buoys. So the only option we had was to not get in, or to get in and just keep taking one stroke after another stroke after another stroke, and eventually we'd get close enough to a buoy to see where we were going. And that's what I want to encourage you to think about, you know, relate it back to your rock climbing experiences, knowing that there was this deep sense of knowing within you about where your power was and how does it feel to translate that into your business decisions.
Yeah. I mean, I think the other thing about the rock climbing is that, you know, that obviously we were on ropes, and you know, you could fall, but you could get back on again as well.
And that's business, right? You can royally F it up, however you define that. But is it the end? No. Is it going to kill you? Probably not. You might have a little, I mean, and even when we come to a sense of like, do we even have to invite any embarrassment or shame around it? No, because you tried it.
Yes.
And that's that fine line between getting distracted and also trying something, deciding it didn't work, and then trying something else rather than refining the trying.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Because oftentimes I've been using Thomas Edison as an example a lot. I mean, I read that he tried something like 2,000 different filaments before he could get his light bulb to work.
Wow.
Had he been going around going, well, I suppose we could always keep using candles, like he wouldn't have tried 2,000 filaments. He would have quit after maybe 10.
Yes.
So maybe that way didn't work. But we as business owners, we come around and say, okay, so what's another approach for that? What's another doorway in? Rather than going, oh, well, that launch didn't work or that idea didn't work, I'm going to just try a new one. Because that's where we get stuck in thinking that the first time we try something, it has to be perfect.
Yeah. Yes.
Does that feel complete for you? Do you?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. That's really good. Thank you. Yeah.
Anything else that you need to make you feel more powerful and aligned, or is that good?
No, I think that's good. I think that's good.
Well, let's see what the little tarots say for you. Excellent. Ooh, lovely cards. Right. So we've got the card of abundance, and the abundance talks about like being able to like sit back and see the abundance everywhere. Right? It's very much talking about like being in that place of relaxation, but also being aware of like of what's around us right now, but the cycles as well, like the yin and the yang, the night and the day, and where can we feel the abundance now, and the creativity and the knowingness now without necessarily need to seeing the results that tell us it is true. Then their kind of warning card to you is the card of control. So when we box ourselves in with like, it must look like this, I must say it like that, I must feel like this, exactly what you've just said, you've just taken your wings off and you've hung them on the door handle, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to just let somebody else have my wings because I have to think this way.
Yes.
What you just, the image that I use for myself a lot at the moment is I want you to imagine that, you know, you can just unzip your head and take your brain out and put your brain on the table, and your brain is nothing more than a computer. So if you could reprogram your brain by like typing something in and putting an electrode in your brain and it automatically transferred that new information in, it can only come from a thought that you choose to have. So release the control and let your intention and your energy do the work for you. And then the best card, the Thunderbolt card. So you see the figure sat behind it, cross-legged. Yes. Okay, in that place of meditation, the Thunderbolt talk, and you can actually, I don't know, the Phoenix is rising behind it. This one talks about like people are jumping out of the building because they want to, but it's burning down, like we're coming back to ashes, and it's been a conscious choice to do that so that you can rise anew. This is where your power is. It's a really, really powerful card, and so interesting that where the tower is, and then seeing that person in a place of meditation, that's the space, that's the power.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, Anne, I have loved this super quick session. I'm glad that you got something from it, and I should look forward to seeing how you use it, because I do follow you on the Tickety Talk, you don't, you know?
I do, yeah.
So we will see what that looks like, and just every time you feel yourself getting taken into your head, just take yourself back into the rock climbing thing and drop back into your heart and just see what action you take from that space.
Yes, I will. Yes.
All right, my dear. So I shall look forward to watching you. No problem. Take care. Bye.